I'm not going to lie, I was delighted this week. Uh, Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another show. It's the prediction show again. Delighted to welcome JP onto the channel. JP, how are you?
All good.
All good. I'm better this week. Actually won a week. 4 points to 2. Getting the Drogheda Derry one, or Drogheda Derry one. That's this week. The Drogheda Shelbourne one, absolutely correct. So it's my first 3-pointer, JP. So yeah, well, I don't know what to say about that, to be honest. 4-2 win, though. You lead by 34 points to 21 overall. It's not as big as you think, though, is it? Really? A couple of three
Oh, but
pointers. A couple of three
it, can
pointers can get you back in there.
it can turn around and
It can.
and time like
Yeah.
I think 13 points the difference, and I
Yeah.
think I probably had 3 or 4 3-pointers already this season.
Yeah.
So
That's the
I
thing,
think
though.
it
You could go into a week there and there's 5 games in general. You could hypothetically get a 3-pointer and the rest of them wrong. Do you know
mm,
what I mean? Or you could
you're
get,
still in it.
do you know what I mean? Or you could go and get
Mm,
3 games correct, if you know what I mean, but you don't get a 3-pointer. So I think in one of the
yeah,
weeks I got 4 out of 5, but no 3-pointers. You know what I mean?
4 out of 5, and
Yeah. I
I
think you
got
might got the same actually. Or maybe you got a 3-pointer
I got a 3-pointer
and a
in the
one
season.
right, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I
that's
got a 3-pointer and one right. Yeah.
yeah. I'm just trying to cover up how crap I'm doing by making it sound like I'm not doing too bad, actually, to be fair. We'll get on to it anyway. And the first one up is your guys travel to Weavers Park. It's never an easy game when Derry go to Weavers Park, in fairness, is it?
No, it's like
And
a
I still
bogey
haven't
ground.
won away this season. Another point.
Yeah. They did not run away, so I think
No.
well, hopefully we're due one. It's not an easy place, never is an easy place to go. I think we may have won one of our games there last year. I can't remember off the top of my head.
If you
I
did have a feeling it was a 1-0 or 2-1 or something.
think it might have been a 1-0
Yeah.
if I'm being honest. I just can't remember. I
And there
know
was
they
a
beat us
penalty shootout in the cup, I think, the year before, wasn't it?
the year,
Or maybe
the
two
COVID
years,
year, yeah,
2 years
COVID.
before, actually. And the
So
back
yeah,
end
it's
of
never an
COVID.
easy. I think we drew 0-0 the game near the end of the season too. So
Mm.
yeah, it's
And of
I
course, it
think
was a narrow enough win at the Brandywell this season as well in the opening day, wasn't it?
it was, yeah. 2-1 Derry went
Mm,
2-0 up, and then a free kick from Evan Weir made it a nervy finish. But to
mm,
be honest, Derry
mm.
could have
Although
won the
they
game.
missed the penalty as well, in fairness. You never know if the penalty, didn't they? Did they miss a penalty? Drogheda.
Drogheda never no. Yeah, they did.
They
Gavin
did
Brennan
actually.
saved it.
Ryan Brennan,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Was it saved?
Brian Brennan,
It was
Brian
saved.
Brennan,
Yeah,
Brian
that's
Maher
right.
saved it. Yeah,
Yeah.
just after Derry had took the lead that night.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
forgot about
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Derry went 2-0 up. They
Yeah.
in that game they could have maybe got an hour and made a wee bit, but Drogheda, to be fair, they did come back at us, and
Mm.
in the end they could easily have nicked the point.
Yeah,
The,
they've
the
had 3 draws in a row now as well. So whether that's decent, and one of them was against Shelbourne, but context, as we said, comes into everything. And you're winning the last minute, you're going to be disappointed dropping points. Derry, obviously, in the back of that, big win against Dundalk. But we had said previously that if Derry realistically have designs and winning a title, you kind of need to go and win these type of games consistently, don't you? In all honesty, so it's who's gone first for this one?
Who went first last week? Was it me?
Well,
I think
I
it
don't
was.
know. Do you want me to go first? And you go first in the next one.
I
Um,
go you first. Yeah.
it'd hardly be another draw, will it? 4 in a row. Derry, first game of the season. Can I get it? Yeah, I think Derry might nick it 1-0. First away win of the season. Derry 1-0 for me.
Yeah, as you say, like if we're going to win the league, we need to win these type of matches
Mm.
and consistently, and
Mm.
you have to have good home form, which I think Derry do. Which I
Mm.
think they've won 4 out of 5 at home, haven't they, this season?
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
so they've good home form. Make your home
It
form
needs to be
closer, and
balanced a bit, doesn't
yeah,
it, though? You don't need to win
and
every match away if you're doing well at home, but it needs to be more of a balance there for
pick
them.
up results. So we will win this game. I'm going to go. It's whether we keep a clean sheet as well as another thing, because
Mm.
we did down in Polka Park. We couldn't keep on Friday night despite being comfortable. Um, I think Drogheda will score at home, so I'm going to go 2-1 Derry. I'm going to say 2-1 Derry.
Interesting. Dundalk and Pats at Oriel Park, and Dundalk will be hoping to get that sacked manager bounce. We often talk about new manager bounces, but I often see a sacked manager bounce, and Bowes got that against Derry City, as you know. Liam Burns will take charge of the game along with Brian Gartland. And I suppose for Pats coming into the game, there's an element of going into the unknown a little bit. But at the same time, you look at a team like Pats or any other side, and, with the players generally that Dundalk have, that, if they perform and play with decent intensity, they probably should go and get the 3 points. And Dundalk haven't scored at home this season in 4 attempts. You're thinking surely that's going to change at least for them, but it's me first on this one, is it? Oh no, it's you first. Yeah. What do you think?
I thought when Dundalk put I can't mind his name, the number 9 on Friday night.
Was it Jamie Gullen?
Yeah. I thought he gave them a wee bit of a presence that they were lacking maybe before he came on.
He's a little bit of that.
And I think that's when they started to cause Derry a wee bit of trouble. And I think the goal came from that. Like Ryan O'Kane made a good run in behind and stuck it in the back of net. Say they're going into unknown. Gartland, Burns taking charge.
If Stevie was still in charge, and it's not that because he's bad or anything like that, it's just because I think Pats definitely win the game, but you get this weird thing sometimes, don't you?
I think Pats still will win the game, Keith. Coming off that win over Shamrock Rovers, they're beginning this game with a lot of confidence. A couple of players in form, Brandon.
In a sense, they kind of need to, don't they? Because people be saying there's no point beating Shamrock Rovers at home, and then the next week going to the bottom of the table, Dundalk, and not winning. You know yourself.
I think they will win it, and I'm going to say 3-1.
Yeah, I think Dundalk score. I'll go with you, but I think I have a funny feeling they might have to ground it out, and that's fine because you get the 3 points. But from Dundalk's point of view, they do want to see a reaction. Sometimes you do see that, though, as we said before. But are they good enough is the question. They're not going to lose every game this season, though. That's the point. But you would think the Pats are coming into a bit of form and have been. So 2-1 Pats for me. You went 3, wasn't it? Yeah, 2-1 Pats.
3-1 I went.
North Dublin Derby sees Shelbourne take on Bohemians at Tulka Park, and obviously Shelbourne will be kind of a bittersweet draw. Weavers Park, really, they're still 6 points clear at the top of the table. And I've said before, I think Shells probably end up drawing a lot of games. They did beat Bowes 2-0 at Dalymount in what was a very poor game, I have to say. Particularly our first half was a tough watch. I think even Shelbourne and Bowes fans would agree with that. But Shelbourne done enough to eke out that result, something they're capable of doing. Unbeaten at Tulka this season. Bowes very disappointing, as we said, in the home defeat to Waterford. But then you kind of look at it and go, these are the type of games where Bowes might surprise you. So there's a lot there, though. Shelbourne by far the more organised team, aren't they? It's me first, is it? Yeah, it is. It's a difficult one because it is a derby. And if Bowes can get up for it, they can still cause problems to Shells. I think one of the things actually in the game at Dalymount that Bowes did that, of course, Devine was in charge, but even so, that Shelbourne struggled a bit at times that Bowes sat back. And it almost doesn't suit Shelbourne to kind of have a lot of the ball and be in possession a lot of the ball all the time, if you know what I mean. It's a tough one. I don't know about you, but this is a tough one. I don't know why. I don't know why, because something's like logically you should say Shells should be winning it, but I just think with Bowes games, there's no logic in them whatsoever this season. Although you could argue there's logic in all Shelbourne's games this season. You know how they go, but it's just something at the back of my mind is telling me Bowes might get something, and I'm gonna regret it. But I'll go for Shelbourne 1, Bowes 1. I know I'm gonna regret this. Shelbourne are gonna win, aren't they?
When I looked at this game too, I'm thinking back to the Dalymount game as well, where Shelbourne came out 2-0 winners. But they've drawn their last 2 games, 0-0 against Derry, 1 each or 2 each against Shelbourne, against Drogheda. Albeit a late equaliser in that game, they all count. And I'm just wondering, are they going to draw 3 in a row? Say they will draw a lot of games.
I think they will.
And Duff has come out fighting today with the media saying that people crediting them over 9 games, and he's saying, "Well, manipulate that and credit us over 25, 30 games." And he's probably right, but people are
He's
only
probably
focusing
right, but people aren't going to talk about the back
about
end of the
last season.
season before, are they? Yeah.
No, they're not.
I mean, I'm not
Um,
going. Yourself and myself, for example, like we're not going to reference too much when we're talking about these of last season with any team, really. Like, you
no,
know what I
we're not
mean?
like, and
Yeah.
um, I saw them against Derry, and it was kind
Mm.
of they were letting Derry have the ball, and I think that
Shells.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think you're right, what to say. That's when they're at their best, when they don't have a lot of the ball. Um, I think in this game they will have most of the ball.
I
They
do
do.
as well.
It's where they allow Bowes to have the balls, I think. Um,
And
I
sometimes
think
these games have a life of their own, don't they, as well? They're kind of Derby, especially Shelbourne Bowls. There's something funny about Shelbourne Bowls. I can't put my finger on it.
I can't call it because of Bowes. Like Bowes are like a Jekyll and Hyde team. They beat Galway 2-0, and then
You feel like if you say Bowls are going to win, they lose, and if you say they're going to lose, they're going to win.
like they beat Galway 2-0, and then went and lost to uh
Waterford,
Waterford.
obviously, at home, yeah.
Yeah,
And they were well beaten at Tallaght Stadium against Shamrock Rovers as well previously there.
I think they'll get something as well, and I think it might be one each as well. I'm going to go 1-1.
Interesting.
Uh,
I've a
It's
weird feeling I'm going to regret this and Shells are going to win 1-0. So just remember that if they do. Damn
uh,
it. Yeah. Waterford FC and Galway United, the two promoted teams, take on each other at the RSC. Galway beat them 2-1 in Eamon DC. Yeah, they did earlier on in the season. And Galway have had the Indian sign over them a little bit in the last number of years, apart from that playoff semi-final a couple of years ago when Waterford beat them easily. But Galway have gone from strength to strength since then. Waterford have obviously improved themselves. Waterford in the back of a win. Galway in the back of a nothing really after the game was called off against Sligo the week before. But they've had a long time now to digest that defeat to Bows, which, according to John Caulfield, was one of their worst performances in the last few years. So it'll be interesting to see how they come into this game. Again, a tough one to judge, I think. And you're going with this one first.
yeah. Whenever you have what Caulfield described as their worst performance of the season, you
Just
just
got to
want
be
a
a
game.
reaction.
You
Yeah.
just want there's going to be a reaction, but you just want a game to come around straight away, or within a week, and that didn't happen. I go back to Derry against Bows. It was their worst performance of the season. Then they had a 2 week international break, and you're thinking then that 2 weeks is good enough time. They iron out
Mm.
all the bad stuff, and
Mm.
it didn't happen. It carried on into the Galway game, and it's whether Galway will benefit from not having a game last week. Um,
Mm.
I think
I agree with you though. I think they would have rather had the game last week.
I think Waterford will be boiled by
Yeah.
the one away at Bohemians. They had a good home performance last time out against Shamrock Rovers on uh, Easter Monday, even though they lost 2-1, but they'll be probably proud of how they played in that
Yeah.
game. And I think Waterford are going to win this. I think they will nick it 2-1. 2-1 Waterford.
Mm. I'm gonna go for. I always have to get one boring 0-0 in. So the last 0-0 was null and void. It was called off. So 0-0. I'll go for this game. You've gone for a Waterford win, and finally Shamrock Rovers
The,
against Sligo
the
Rovers.
Battle of the Rovers.
Yeah. They're called this the Rovers Derby at Tallaght Stadium. It's green against red. And Sligo, maybe similarly, although I know they had a couple of touch and go players like J.R. Wilson and Ed McGinty for the Galway game, so I'm pretty certain they'll be back for this game. Simon Perez still suspended though, because
Yeah,
that
because the
carries
other
over if
games.
you like. Yeah, so they'll be disappointed with that. And obviously Panakar's out, as I mentioned before, for months. Rovers, I think Trevor Clark will probably start this game. I thought he looked quite sharp when he came on against Pats, albeit for 20 minutes. I expect Kenny to be back. The rest of the pack, maybe Lee Grace will be back in as well. I'm not sure about the rest. I don't think any of the rest will be in, but the quicker they get to near enough full strength, I suppose, the better. But from Sligo's point of view as well, I suppose the bad defeat at Richmond Park to Pats and that break wouldn't have helped them either. But now it turns out if they go to potentially a wounded animal at Tallaght Stadium, having lost the Pats 3-0, for them it's probably not ideal, is it?
No.
Who's first in this one, by the way? Is it me?
Yeah. What game's this? Number 5?
I'm confusing
Yeah,
myself.
it's you.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, but whatever. Yeah, go for that first. Whatever you're going to.
Aye.
Yeah.
Sligo, like they lost the Pats as well, and it's probably their worst performance of the season too,
Mm.
similar to the Galways against Bows, and I'm sure they were keen to get that Galway game out of the road to get that Pats game off their chest, and they now have to go to probably one of the toughest venue, if not the toughest venue in the league, and try and uh, dust that off and get going
Mm.
again. But look, there's no reason why they can't do it. Rovers, we know Shamrock Rovers, we know um lost against Pats last week, and they'll be looking they put on a performance here, get in front of their own fans. It's a game that I can't call really. Someone's telling me Shamrock Rovers will win it, and another way then I'm thinking Sligo might get a draw out of it, but I'm going to say 2-0 Shamrock Rovers.
Mm. Oh, shit, I just remembered. It doesn't really matter, I suppose, but you got 2-0 Shamrock Rovers. I agree with you, though. I do think Shamrock Rovers will win the game. Tends to be goals in this one for some reason at Tallaght Stadium. They played at the Showgrounds earlier on the season, and wasn't it a draw? I think it might have been a draw in a tight game. I just can't.
Yeah, it was not low.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. McGinty's a big figure for Sligo as well. I mean, no offense to Richard Brush, he was a good goalkeeper, but the age he's at now, like, you know what I mean? You'd really need McGinty in this game. Let's be honest about that. Rovers have a lot of threats, though. They're all over the park, even with the players out. Shamrock Rovers, that is. But and as I said, they were good technically against Pats. It's not as if, that was a terrible performance, and you know what I mean. Yeah, one little issue I think Rovers do have at the moment, though, to be honest with you, without going too much into depth, is potentially their goalkeeper. I don't think Pole's a bad goalkeeper, but I don't think he's one of the strongest in the league at the same time.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, I think
He's
I would
about
agree.
mid-table, if you like.
He didn't, as an opposition fan, he didn't really fill me with confidence.
No.
Whenever he was filling in for Alan Manis,
No.
or even when he was playing in cup games for Rovers, like he played in the quarter final, the FAI Cup a couple of years ago, and when obviously we knew that he was Stephen Bradley's cup keeper, but when you're seeing when
I
we
hate
saw
that, by the way, cup keepers. It annoys me, but go on.
as fans, when we saw that he was in nets and not Alan Manis, you're thinking, you know what, we've a chance here today. And the President's Cup game at the start of last year as well, I think Michael Duffy had a shot that went through his legs as well. So look, I'm not going to sit here and absolutely hammer him because I think he has a decent keeper. But
yeah, he is. He's a decent keeper. But yeah,
I think they won the league. I think you need to have a quality top keeper.
If they don't win it, that might be one of the things you might look at the end of the season. Maybe it's something we might look at. But
and then I'm looking at Sligo and they've got Ed McGinty nets, and you're wondering that Shamrock Rovers maybe miss a.
It's surprised it didn't go for him.
Yeah,
very surprised.
Is it a case of they want to give Poles a chance?
I think Bradley trusted in him very early in the window. He spoke about him at the end of the season, stuff when Manis was retiring and stuff. So I think he kind of trusted him in that sense. But yeah, no, it will be interesting. Season goes on to see what happens there. Not bad goalkeeper, but as not one of the best, I don't think. But you went 2-0 Shamrock Rovers. I think they will win as well. But I can see Sligo nicking one. They still have threats, like, you know, I've said it before with Chapman and Matt and players like that. They will be disappointed, as you said, with the performance at Richmond Park, and I'm disappointed they didn't get a game last week. So they'll be looking at least to put in a performance. If they go to Shamrock Rovers and lose, and Shamrock Rovers play really well, and you put in a performance, you know, they can be happy with that going to their next game. But at the same time, as you say, you know, if they play really well, they're capable of getting something as well. But no, I'll go for Shamrock Rovers to win the game, but 2-1. That's my only home win as well this week. And I suppose you and me both wouldn't mind that being the case because Derry and Pants are away. But
Yeah.
brilliant. Good stuff, JP. We leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys. Let us know your predictions down in the comments. And am I going to catch JP? Thanks again.